Everyone, please come toward the front. Thank you, Maureen. Appreciate that. Okay, and we're going to start. And today we are just celebrating the heck out of women. So, so our first prelude is Clara Schumann. 1819 to 1896 is when she lived. She had a 61-year career. As a pianist and composer, she was married to composer Robert. They had 8 children, and she is considered one of the most distinguished pianists of the Romantic era.
I'm glad to see you all made it here today. I love it when Mother Nature shows off for us. And Clara Schumann's husband took credit for, she wrote a lot of the music that he was noted for. So I just want to make that statement. Come, come, whoever you are welcome here, no matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart, tears in your eyes. You are welcome here. No matter what you've experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, or some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. And since I know you're all intrepid since you were here or today, it's really fun to do these worship. And if you want to get involved and have a good time with friends, creating this for the rest of you, please consider it. It's very bonding. As we gather this morning, let us pause and acknowledge that the ground upon which we gather is the ancestral and current homeland of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshute, and Ute tribes. With humility for the ways in which we have unwittingly participated in the harms perpetuated in the past and the present, we seek now to learn a way forward. We begin to partner, to ally, and witness with our Indigenous siblings and friends, bringing forth a new sacred dream of community restored and a world renewed. Good morning, I am Luci Malin. My pronouns are she and her, and as something I'm going to read later, in the olden days there was HIR, her, a pronoun for a female not wanting to identify with a male pronoun. We are gathered here in this sanctuary, and those at home in our virtual audience, which is where I usually am, and I'd rather be at home in my pajamas watching the snow. We extend an especially warm welcome to those of you who are with us for the first, second, or third time. We are so glad that you are here with us, and we look forward to getting to know you better. If you'd like to keep up on the dates of our events, please sign up for our weekly newsletter via the online order of service. The QR code is in the hardback hymnals, which are available in, not today, but, or at the welcome table. Next Sunday is Silly Hat Sunday, so please have fun with that. The sillier, the better. I think we have an announcement now about our pledge drive, which is how we fund the lifeblood of this loving community.
Hi friends, how's it going? What's that? All right. My name is Zach Stickney. I'm one of your board members, and I just had a couple quick announcements, one about our pledge drive that's happening, and also the big event that's coming up. So first of all, with the pledge drive, I want to share my favorite thing in the world right now. This is sort of, and hopefully we can zoom in the camera enough so those at home can check this out as well. This was put together by Kathleen Luck. This is basically a visual representation of where we stand with our pledge drive currently. And actually, the news this morning was fantastic. So on Wednesday, we had our board meeting, and we were sitting at something like somewhere between 20 to 25% of our pledge drive goal. And we were sweating a little bit, to be honest. We were like, whew, this is cutting it close. Hopefully we can get a good push. But this morning, I just got the news that we're actually above halfway as of today, and we've had a lot more of those pledges coming in. So thank you to everyone who has done that. That's phenomenal. And as hopefully you can see a little bit in our visual representation here, we have the Great Salt Lake being drained by years of drought and neglect. However, it's currently rising, not only because of the torrential downpours of snow that we have, but also it's a visual representation of putting our values into the world, right? Supporting the church in this way is one of the ways that we can manifest our values beyond these walls. And so right now, our little brine shrimp is rising. It's a little bit above halfway. But we're not quite there yet. Our goal is 225,000 this year. We're sitting at about 125 right now. So if you haven't got those pledges in yet, please do so. And one last thing on that is also, if you haven't completed your pledges for the previous year, please do that as well. And don't feel bad if you haven't yet. I'm also technically guilty of that. I checked yesterday where I was at, and there's still a few months left in the church fiscal year. So you've still got time, but please make sure that you complete those. I'm going to do it too, so you can be guilty along with me, and we'll do it together. And we'll reach that finish line for last year as well. Next announcement is regarding the big event. So one thing I want to say about the big event itself is the first couple years that I was coming to South Valley, I wasn't really a full member yet. I was sort of what you might call a lurker. I was just kind of hanging out. I'd come maybe once a month or so, and people would mention the big event, the big event, the big event, and I had no idea what that was. If you don't know what the big event is, it's a celebration of our membership. It's sort of a culmination of the pledge drive, and it's just a really fun get-together for everyone to celebrate what we've accomplished together, and just who we are as a community. So I really encourage you to come to that. That's coming up this coming Saturday at 7 o'clock, and we've actually just learned some very exciting news. We're gonna have, oh, here we go. Awesome, thank you so much, Sarah. We're gonna have a special performance that we didn't know was happening until last Wednesday. Rinkori Don Spree, Sarah's dancing group, is going to be performing at the big event, so it's gonna be a ton of fun. Rinkori Don Spree is Gaelic for dancing for fun, which is what we're gonna be doing a lot of at the event, hopefully, as well. The last thing to mention about that, we will have bartending will be available at the event. Thank you, Sarah. Natalie and I are going to be doing that, so feel free to bring some wine or anything else that you'd like to share. And there's also childcare available, so you can have some time to just to interact with the adults in the community. Your kids can have fun too. So we just really hope you're going to be there. It's awesome. It's a ton of fun. It's one of the best things that we do all year. So thanks, everybody. And let's keep filling up the Great Salt Lake for our brine shrimp. Thank you all so much.
It's a big lake, and it's a big need that we have. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Sarah. We have, let's see, Rick. We have the three of us. We have many people who make this service possible. So thank you all for being here and helping. And we are glad for the people back at home. From Amanda Gorman, the first American Youth Poet Laureate, Harvard graduate and activist in issues of oppression, feminism, race, marginalization, as well as the African diaspora. An excerpt from a poem. Today, everyone's eyes are on us as we rise. Today is the day women are paving the way, speaking our truth to power in this hour, to find the brave beauty in rooting for other women, so they too know we are not victims, we are victors. The predictors of progress. We press for change, a new dawn drawn into the open by women whose silence is broken. We push on and act on our responsibility to bring visibility to the most vulnerable, to bring freedom to those who didn't have a choice, to bring volume to those using their voice. We clear a woman's way. We don't fear the day she steps into the light, because we are with her every step of the fight. Let's sing our opening hymn together. We Give Thanks. It was written by Wendy Luella Perkins, a Canadian UU minister. It's in our hymnals 1010.
We are going to sing this one twice, and if the second time you want to harmonize,
And please stay standing and say good morning to one another. Have a chance to say hi.
Morning, everybody on the call.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Here, Leo, come say hi. Max, come say hi over here.
We were just shoveling out and decided it was too slippery.
Yes.
That's what we did.
We got on the road and slipped like 5 times by the time we got out of our complex. So I'm like, nope, never mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I fell the other day. I'm still recovering. So
You fell. Oh,
yeah, so
Ooh.
I'm not crazy about going out there to shovel right now because my knee still hurts.
ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, so everybody be careful because I was just walking on the sidewalk.
Wow.
back tracks.
I need those things you can strap to your shoe.
Yeah. They're really wonderful.
Yeah, I should invest in some for sure.
Yeah.
Tucker, what are
The
they
weird-
called?
Yeah.
Snowshoes?
Animal YAK track. TRAK.
They just strap on to your normal shoes. They just
And they've revised them a little. We used to lose them in the snowdrift. I put it now so that you can keep them.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, Alyssa's at church. We're supposed to meet her there. So
Hey Tucker, will you type the name of them into chat?
Yeah.
According,
There. See,
according to weather, it's not spring yet.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so am I doing this?
I can't.
That groundhog really,
I can do it.
Okay,
And then
to see that shadow.
and then offertory.
okay,
Maybe
so,
during offertory we'll pass these
Yeah, I
out.
read an article in the paper today that said that all this extra moisture isn't necessarily going to end up in the Great Salt Lake because it might be diverted. I mean,
Right.
what's up with that? We have all this extra
Okay, everyone, let's
snow.
come back. This is so great.
Utah water rights. Woo.
I want to let you know that Steve is not only doing sound today, but also shoveling. Steve, thank you. And so we're going to light our chalice. Mia is going to light the chalice for us. And let's say, sorry, you all sat down. Thank you. Sorry. Let us say our words for lighting the chalice. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. Yes. And now let's have time for all ages. If the children will come up. Patricia's vision about Dr. Patricia Bath, 1942 to 2019 is when she lived.
Hello, everyone. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, it's okay? Oh, cool. Okay, I invite children and those who are young at heart too, okay? And thank you so much. Yeah, it's tiny and it's cool. Isn't it cool?
I have the cooler.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like a really big.
I love your hat, by the way.
I have the cooler.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today. Hi, friends. How are you doing today? Good? Okay.
My
okay.
tail is wagging.
I love your outfit. It's really cool. Okay. So today I will tell you a very interesting story of an amazing woman. A woman, her name was Patricia Bath. She recently died, but her life was remarkable. An amazing woman. This is how she looked like when she was a grown-up. But of course, her story began when she was a little girl. She was a child. This is she. She was born in New York, and once in the street of New York, she saw a blind man, and she was thinking, What happened to him? What can we do to help him see better? And then she started to dream of becoming a doctor. She wanted to be a doctor.
So that she could cure blindness.
Exactly. Good point. Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Thank you for listening. Yes. Yeah. But do you think it was easy for her, for an African-American girl from a non-wealthy family, to become a doctor? Most doctors in her neighborhood were men. To become a doctor costed money and required a lot of studies. Do you think it was possible for her?
Yes.
Yes, it was possible. And you know why? Why it was possible for her?
I think it was very easy because African Americans are treated badly and women are treated badly.
Yes, yes.
So,
But she persisted. She persisted. She believed in her dream. She persisted. She said, I want to be a doctor. I want to help people see. And her parents supported her. They worked very hard. And she worked hard. She worked hard at school. She was recognized as a remarkable teenage scientist for her research on cancer cells. So she studied well. That's why she was able to go to college. And she got her first degree in chemistry. She studied a lot. And then she also went to medical school and she studied for another 4 years there. And she became a doctor. Now I have a question for you. So this is she, Patricia Bath, and this is her patient, and she examines something on him. What kind of doctor she became? An eye doctor, yes, an eye doctor, because she was remembering. Yeah, she was remembering those men she saw on the street who couldn't see. And so she worked hard to help blind people, to help people with bad vision, to see the world clearly and better. And then she joined a very famous eye institute in California. And you know what? She was the first woman to join that institute. She wasn't afraid. She was brave. However, she was given the worst room in the building.
the basement.
In the basement, yes. Near lab animals. Do you think it was okay?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't okay. So she went upstairs to talk to other doctors, professors, and said, I have equal rights. We all are doctors and professors. Please give me a nice room for my work and study and research.
We all have the same school.
Yes,
And
and
we're
she
all
was given
people.
it. Yes, we're all humans, right?
All person.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your help. Yes, that's amazing. She was proud to care for the so-called hopelessly blind people. And she was thinking, what if I could give my patients the gift of sight? Other doctors said, it's impossible. Do you think it's impossible?
No.
Yes. And she also, she didn't believe it was impossible. She said, I choose miracles. So she performed eye surgery on a blind person. She inserted a small tube into the eye, and her patient was happy to see the world again.
She went from blind to,
Exactly.
unblind.
Yes. But you know what happened then? She had a call from a patient, and her patient stopped seeing the world after an eye surgery because a thin layer of tissue called a membrane had grown in the eye after surgery, and the woman could no longer see. Dr. Bath was thinking what she could do to help, how to remove this tissue, this cataract, how to help her see again. She was thinking, she didn't sleep, she was thinking. She thought, maybe I can do a laser eye surgery. maybe I can do this. But what do you think other people said?
No.
No, you cannot do this. It's impossible, it's dangerous. Yeah, no way. But she said, she kept thinking big thoughts about the tool that didn't exist yet. She said, it can be done. She was thinking, researching, experimenting, traveled to work with the best lasers. She didn't sleep, she worked hard. And finally, she invented a special tiny tool that can perform laser surgery on the eyes and cut this tissue from the eye that prevents people from seeing the world. And her invention worked. She received a patient saying that, yes, we recognize and approve of your invention. And her eyes were full of joy, were full of tears of joy. Why do you think she's crying?
Because she's so happy.
Yes, and
Sometimes
yes,
because you're sad. Happy deals.
yes, and sometimes we cry when we're happy. Why do you think she was happy?
Because she performed lasers.
Yes, her invention worked. She could help blind people see the world. She helped a lot of people. She helped people from Africa, from many countries. She said, in my childhood, I developed a love and respect for humanity and wanted to help heal the sick. I believe that someday the blind will see. Dr. Patricia Beth saw possibility wherever she went. Today, thank you so much for listening to this story about this remarkable woman.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you. And I encourage you to pursue your dreams, to believe in yourself. Because when you believe in your dreams and you work hard, your dreams will come true. Whatever your age is, whatever your gender or color of your skin, whatever circumstances of your life are, your dreams can come true. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you, kids. Thank you, friends.
Before we sing our kids out, just a quick go in peace, go peace. Actually takes care of our kiddos downstairs, like 3 and younger, isn't available today. I apologize.
I don't know
for that,
if he has
our corner, kind of a quieter corner.
Ukrainian or Russian accent.
This part of the sanctuary over here. Otherwise, you're welcome to join me downstairs. We have a really wonderful project that we're going to work on downstairs with our RE students to prepare for our April worship series. So let's sing our children out.
This community, our church, and many ministries are made possible the gifts we give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. And we're in the midst of our annual pledge drive, as you heard. We do also take Sunday offerings, and we share those with another organization that shares our values. We're sharing with White Helmets volunteers currently. They've been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for their work in war zones and in areas of experiencing earthquakes and other disasters. The White Helmet's motto is taking from the Quran: to save a life is to save all of humanity. Please join me in reading our offertory words. They're printed in the order of service. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. And if the ushers will come forward and those online can use the giving link that they're being given. We're going to do poetry this time for offertory rather than music. Lucy?
I just want to say one thing. My mother was a doctor, And when I was in the second grade and we had to talk about our parents and our family, what they did, and I said, my mother is a doctor. And my teacher said, no, your mother is a nurse. Yeah. So this is a poem called The Sound of One Fork. It is by Minnie Bruce Platt, who's a famous lesbian poet who was active in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Through the window screen, I see an angle of gray roof and the silence that spreads in the branches of the pecan tree as the sun goes down. I am waiting for a lover. I am alone in a solitude that vibrates like the cicada in a hot mid-morning, that waits like the lobed sassafras leaf just before it turns dark green. Its dark green turns into red and waits like the honeybee in the mouth of the purple lobelia. While I wait, I can hear the random clink of one fork against a plate. The woman next door is eating supper alone. She is 60, perhaps, and for many years has eaten by herself the tomatoes, corn, okra that she grows in her backyard garden. Her small metallic sound persists, as quiet almost as the windless silence, persists like the steady random click of a bird eating a few more seeds before the sun gets too low. She does not hurry, she does not linger. Her younger neighbors think that she is lonely, but I know what sufficiency she may possess. I know what can be gathered from year to year, gathered from what is near to hand, as I do the elderberries that bend in a damp thickets by the road, gathered and preserved, jars and jars shining in rows of claret red, made at times with help of a friend or a lover, but consumed long after they are gone, and I sit alone at the kitchen table. And when I sit in the last heat of Sunday afternoons on the porch steps in the acid breath of the boxwoods, I also know desolation. The week is over, the coming night will not lift. I am exhausted from making each day. My family, my children live in other states, the women I love in other towns. I would rather be here than with them in the old ways, but when all that's left of the sunset is the red reflection underneath the clouds, when I get up and come in to fix supper in the darkened kitchen, I am often lonely for them. In the morning and in the evening, we are by ourselves, the woman next door and I. Still, we persist. In the drawer, I open the drawer to get out the silverware. She goes to her garden to pull the weeds and pick the crookneck squash that turn yellow with late summer. I walk down to the pond in the morning to watch and wait for the blue heron who comes at first light, to feed on the minnows that swim through her shadow in the water. She stays until the day grows so bright that she cannot endure it, and leaves with her hunger unsatisfied. She bows her wings and slowly lifts into flight, gray, slate blue against a paler sky. I know she will come back. I see the light create a russet curve of land on the farther bank, where the wild rice bends heavy and ripe under the first blackbirds. I know she will come back. I see the light curve in the fall and the rise of her wing.
Thank you for your blessings. Eagle Poem by Joy Harjo. To pray, you open your whole self, to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more you can't see, can't hear, can't know, except in moments, steadily growing, and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky and wind, swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in. Knowing we are made of all this, and breathe, knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within a true circle of motion. Like eagle rounding out the morning inside us, we pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty.
I'm going to talk about Leslie Feinberg for a minute, who she wrote a book called Transgender Warrior in the early 70s. So she was way at the beginning of this whole movement, and people really were like, what is she talking about? She's widely considered outside the US to be a groundbreaking, her book is a groundbreaking work about the complexities of gender. Feinberg was the first theorist to advance the Marxist concept of transgender liberation, sold by hundreds of thousands of copies and also passed from hand to hand inside prisons, Stone Butch Blues. The novel won the 1994 American Library Association Stonewall Book Award and a 1994 Lambda Literary Award. Feinberg stated in her, and that's HIR, her author's note to the 2003 edition. Like my own life, this novel defies easy classification. If you found Stone Butch Blues in a bookstore or library, what category was it in? Lesbian fiction? Gender studies? Like the germinal novel The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe John Hall, this book is a lesbian novel and a transgender novel, making trans genre a verb as well as an adjective. People who have lived very different lives have generously related to me the similarities they recognized in these pages with their own struggles, the taste of bile, the inferno of rage, transsexual men and women, heterosexual cross-dressers and bearded females, intersexual and androgynous people, bigender, trigender individuals, and many other exquisitely defined expressed identities. And today, we would probably call that the queer community. That word was not used at this time. In her 2014 author's note at the 20th anniversary of the book, she said, the word transgender has changed over the 2 decades since I wrote the book. So I can only note that like planes, trains, and automobiles, the same technology vehicles of hormones and surgeries take people on different journeys in their lives, depending on whether their oppressions is or are based on sexes, self-gender expressions, sexualities, nationalities, immigration status, health, disabilities or abilities, economic exploitation of their labor. Context is everything in politics, and Stone Butch Blues is a highly polemic, rooted in its era and written by a white communist grassroots organizer. With this novel, oops, I planted a flag, I forgot my flag. Here I am. Does anyone else want to discuss these important issues? I wrote it not as an expression of individual high art, but as a working class organizer mimeographs a leaflet, a call to action. I am typing these words with pride. What year is it now as you read them? What has been won? What has been lost? I can't see it from here, I can't predict, but I know this. You're experiencing the impact of what we in the movement take a stand on and fight for today. The present and past are the trajectories of the future, but the arc of history does not bend towards justice automatically. Some of the comments about this book. Stone Butch Blues has probably touched your life, even if you haven't read it. It's a powerful novel written by the founder of a contemporary transgender movement. Feinberg was a historian, an activist, a relentless bridge builder. Stone Butch Blues gave it the word transgender legs. It is a gift from one of the most inspiring and revolutionary voices of our time. Leslie died in 2004, I believe, of Lyme disease or some other tick-borne type of illness. So that was sort of a tragic loss. And I believe she was just about my age, born in 1951 or 1952. And Sophia is going to add some words of wisdom from her experience.
One of my words of wisdom is going to be watch out for the plants. My name is Sophia Hosting. I have the honor, for the past 3 years, of being the president of the Board of Trustees here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, and it has definitely been a pleasure. I am also a transgender woman. I basically came to Utah partly into my transition, into living the life that I was meant to live. One of the things that the 31st is the Transgender Day of Visibility that is coming up. It is a day when we ask all trans people to be visible in their spaces, and it's an extension of the coming out movement for the gay and lesbian communities. You know, they come out wherever you are, right? You know, and it's sayings like out of the closets and into the streets as they march down a lot of the streets. And the reason that they want the trans people to come out, need to come out, is because there's a lot of people out there that would rather that we don't exist. They don't want us, they can't believe that what we're saying is real, that it's valid, that it's backed by science. They want to say, well, you're just confused, right? It's just a phase that you're going through as a child. But the reality is that there is hope if we provide hope, right, to our kids, to our trans community. We made a lot of progress over the years. We secured equal rights based on gender identity, at least as far as employment, housing, non-discrimination. Right? We made some strides, but all of a sudden now they're trying to say, well, we have to protect our youth. We're going to protect our youth by denying them the rights. We're going to deny them the rights to participate equally in sports. We're going to deny them the rights to health care. They tried to attempt to deny them the right to change their name and gender marker on their state ID or driver's license until after they got their driver's license, after they started going to college. You have people that are following a model and a guide from an organization, right, that wants to deny the existence of trans people. They don't want to stop at denying the rights to trans youth. They want to basically deny all adults from being able to transition into who they want to be. For me, my transition was a spiritual journey. And why would we want to deny that spiritual journey to other people that need to find out who they are and who they love? So one of the things that I've butted against, I've been attending several legislative sessions, God, how many, 10 years? So something like that, and trying to speak with legislators. And we've made some improvement. This year we had a record number of bills, unfortunately, that targeted our transgender youth. There were at least 5 of them that came through this year. It was a nightmare, right? And it sent a bad message to anybody who struggles trying to get acceptance for who they are, right, across the whole community. You have organizations like the ACLU that are stepping in and have vowed to fight these bills to the extreme. And there is a little bit of hope in the fact that we had people up on the Hill that were trying to amend these bills to take out the harm and the damage before they went into law. Unfortunately, one of those amendments that would have actually fixed the healthcare bill was shot down within 15 minutes and would have been a great amendment. It's one that I am encouraging us to rally behind to get that amendment in place. We had 2 other amendments that actually brought the age of transitioning your identity markers down to 15, which is actually good because nobody really needs to do that until that age. And there was another the conversion therapy bill went from a bad bill to an actual good bill. So there is hope. There are people that are trying to take some of this bad legislation and turn it into something that actually works. So, but then on the other hand, we've been trying forever to change this legislature because this legislature has become more and more oppressive over the years, which is why we need trans people coming out. It's why we need friends and family coming out in support of their trans family. We need people to show up. And Transgender Day of Visibility is one day, right? And I'm hoping you take your flags out. You display them proudly somewhere in your home, on your property, maybe in your place of business if you feel comfortable enough doing so, right, on that day. But then I'm also going to ask you, not only that day, to leave it out in a prominent location, someplace you know it's going to trigger a conversation where you can actually discuss the truth instead of the misinformation that a lot of people are getting about our gender nonconforming, our trans people that just don't fit the biological gender that they're supposed to inhabit in their lives. And after that, I have more to ask of you. I am going to ask you to help change the legislature. So over the last year, I had this dream that I finally started putting into reality, and that was the creation of the Coalition to Protect Transgender Rights. So we've partnered with Black Lives Matter, ACLU of Utah, South Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Planned Parenthood of Utah, GL-SYN, and those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head right now. But to change the legislature, especially with all the gerrymandering that is in place, everyone in here needs to know about Caucus Night. Caucus Night is the place where we can actually make a difference. It's not just as Equality Utah tried to do a number of years ago, which was say, okay, well, we're looking for people to be delegates. That only works in so much as you're actually showing up to elect the delegates. So I'm going to ask everyone in this room to reach out to your friends, your family, your neighbor, and whichever caucus you want to attend. And this is going to be a year from now, just over a year from now, that you show up and you show up en masse. Because if you're a registered voter in that district, it doesn't matter how many people show up. And that's the weakness in the system. And that's the weakness that we need to use to actually say democracy matter, our lives matter, trans lives matter. So when you show up that night, I want you to be ready to be able to bring your friends, your families, your neighbors. So I'm also going to ask you to have these conversations with your neighbors. Right? If you have a neighborhood event, show up. Talk about it. Talk about how it's impacted you, your lives, your friends, your family, right? Talk about what it means. If they don't have a neighborhood event and you feel like you're able to do it, sponsor one, right? So where I'm at, we have an annual event for my neighborhood and my block. I plan to be there. I plan to bring this up. I plan to talk about it. So again, there is hope. We've made progress, but there are a lot of forces that are pushing us back. And the arc of justice only bends toward justice only when you have a lot of hands pulling on that arc and bringing it down. So, Transgender Day of Remembrance, let's be visible. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Oh, yes. That was our first bead. We're going to have several beads, and Maureen is going to start the passing out. Please take 3 beads and a cord, and we'll tell you what to do with them later. In the meantime, we have a beautiful, 3 or more, we have a beautiful song that is based on Ruth's pledge to Naomi, 2 women whose companionship has been shared for thousands of years through the Bible. Composed by Shoshana Jedwa, sacred music artist and teacher who uses Jewish spiritual texts in her work. Thank you to our soloist for this rendition of Where You Go, I Will Go, Beloved.
Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. And your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved.
Our second bead is around learning and working on anti-racism. I offer this bead of gratitude to women who focus on anti-racism work. I'm on a joyful and heart-sore and gut-wrenching lifelong journey to be anti-racist. And I'm thankful for postings on Facebook and email from Marilyn Smith, who's right here, and Joshua Johansson and Becky Condis, our anti-racism task force here at South Valley. And as we have conversations with each other, it's helpful to think about expectations of what those conversations might be like. And I have realized it's important for me and others who are white, and thinking about, as we're talking to white persons, as we're talking to a BIPOC person, Robin DiAngelo has written a really profound book, White Fragility, that you may or may not have heard of, really hit me. She's a white woman who's an educator for decades, and I'm going to share a couple of her insights. And I had nervous laughter of recognition, I had dismay, I had sadness. As I read through these, I totally saw myself doing these things, and I'm totally gonna try my best not to in the future. She says, I found the only way to give feedback without triggering white fragility is not to give it at all. So the first rule is don't give any feedback. If you insist on breaking this rule, then there are these other rules. Proper tone is crucial. Feedback must be given calmly. If any emotion is displayed, then it's going to be invalid. So this is as a white person, what we tend to do. There must be trust between us. You must trust I am no way racist before you can tell me I just did something racist. Our relationship must be issue-free. Feedback must be given immediately. You must give feedback privately, even if I said something in front of other people. If you embarrass me, then I'm going to focus on that and not the feedback. You must be indirect. Directness is insensitive. As a white person, I must be completely safe during any discussion of race. So therefore, when I say safe, I mean comfortable. And so really, you can't give me any feedback, right? Highlighting my racial privilege invalidates the forms of oppressions I have, and I'll have to start talking about those. You must acknowledge my intentions, that my good intentions cancel out the fact that I just did or said something racist. And to suggest my behavior had a racist impact means you've misunderstood me, and I'm going to explain it until you finally say, oh yeah, I misunderstood you. So these I know I have done, and I am pledging not to do in the future, because racism is the norm, and feedback is the key to us changing. And so she says, take this pledge. How, where, and when I get feedback is irrelevant. It's the feedback that I want and need. Understanding it's hard to give, I'll take it any way I can get it. From my position of social, cultural, and institutional white privilege, I'm perfectly safe and I can handle it. If I can't handle it, it's on me to build my racial stamina. And always say thank you. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about racism more and more here. We're going to try to become anti-racist. So let's keep these things in mind, yeah? And she talks about that she's been in a lot of groups that were trying to be so careful they could not do any discussions. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be worth it. Stopping our racist patterns must be more important than working to convince others we don't have them. And another woman who's really impacted me as I try to work on this is, she wrote the Racial Healing Handbook, that's for all of us, Dr. Annalise Singh. And this book was used by Reverend Monica at First Church during the pandemic when we were shut down, during the shutdown period. We did this on Zoom, and she talks about that healing means we begin to unlearn all the stereotype racial messages that we've internalized, don't even realize. We all become conscious of the nicks and tears in our psyche, and we open our eyes to the costs of racism and work to stop participating. And so I give thanks to these women and their leadership.
Female, she's like the night, smile, soft, sophisticated. I lost my voice. Night, she's like a river, water lilies, wonders, wild. I cannot sing anymore. River, she's like a tree, crushed, curly, compassionate. This pain is overwhelming. Tree, she's like the sky, endless, enchanting, encouraging. Please leave me alone. Sky, she's like a dream, lovesick, lullaby, loud. I love you. Dream, she's like a berry, bitter, bright, bold. I will give you everything I have. Berry, she's like life, elusive, improper, intense. I'm gone, but music stays. I'm often anxious, busy, or distracted, and I rarely think carefully about the precious people in my life. To do this can be painful. However, if I have anything decent in me, it's due to those people. Today, I ask for the opportunity to look back to my youth in Russia and share stories about several precious women who helped me shape my values and beliefs. When my great-grandfather's sister Pasha was an infant, her brothers were throwing rocks near her and injured her eyes. She lost one eye and gradually lost her vision. She never had a romantic relationship, never got married or had children. She never complained either. Instead, she was caring for other people, working hard to the very end of her life. When she was sick, she never bothered others. She never saw me, but we spent much time together. I remember how happy she was telling me that she had night dreams in color. Babushka Pasha taught me to be grateful, curious, kind, and humble. When Pasha died, I saw her in my dream. She was young, beautiful, and full of life. When I was 18, a college student, I got sick with a serious case of pneumonia and was going to die. My mom, Natasha, left her job and traveled to Moscow to heal me. The hospital's medications didn't work, and she started to search for alternative treatment. She lived in my dorm and provided me with homemade food and different remedies. She didn't care about other people's critique. She always sacrificed herself for the sake of her children. Now she supports me in everything I do. Finally, when I was young and was getting my second degree in cultural studies, I had one remarkable professor, Olga Nikolaevna. She taught us a new word, tolerance. She was saying and repeating again and again that we lived in a multicultural world with a diversity of people, beliefs, and identities, and that this diversity is good. She said that tolerance means acceptance and equality, and that we need to treat each other with mutual respect. She never wore makeup and came to class in the same clothes. She was very smart, but never cared about promotion, money, and getting popular among scholars. Her research was on the Muslim community in Russia, and only few people were interested in it. Those are very precious women who had a great impact on me when I was younger and lived in Russia. I am far from being perfect, but I am grateful for the fact that I value humble and unconditional kindness, sacrifice, and acceptance. At this moment, we invite you to do a silent meditation together. If you would like to participate, please think of several precious, significant women of your life. Who are they? What are their names? What are their stories? What is precious about them? What connects you with them? How did they contribute to your journey in life, your values, and your personality?
If you have some beads, you can put them on your cord as you think about these precious women and take home these beads to inspire and remind you. And now we'll hold silence for 5 minutes. We are thankful for all of these women. Our closing hymn is 1051, We Are. This is written and composed by Unitarian Universalist Dr. Issei Maria Barnwell. She has, since 1979, performed with the internationally acclaimed quintet, Sweet Honey in the Rock.
All right, so this one we've sung a few times before. It's a little complicated when you read it. So we repeat the first two lines, and then we start from the second line, and we just keep singing. About the middle of the second page, there's a repeat. We go back to that of the first page, and then we sing all the way through straight until we get to the end. And when we get to the end, we repeat the last two lines. Let's try it. It's exciting.
Please stay standing as we extinguish our chalice. Please say our words together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth.
Light of truth and the energy of action. That until the postlude is Rising Green by Carolyn McDade, and you can be seated. Ricklen Nobis is a songwriter, a spiritual feminist, a social activist, and Carolyn Dade's music has been sung at South Valley since our beginnings. This piece is one of our beloved hymns. And if you were lucky enough 25 years ago, Carolyn McDade came and did a workshop and led the women who were interested in learning how to sing her songs and write them.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe out there. It stopped snowing here just in time for everyone to head back out. Have a great week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.